All right, everybody, what is going on? This is your boy Trey, aka CanTreGame. Although we are currently going by the name Miss B Bottom 3. If you are here from Tekken, and obviously it's the Tekken game, I have to explain the lore here. Basically, my name is Miss B Bottom 3 because the game I primarily play on this channel, Fate of Fury of the Wolves, has a character named B Jenny, and she's bottom 3, actually bottom 1, but she's bottom 3 to me. This current patch, season 2, nerfed her to the ground. So, in order for me to push my agenda and take it to DS3, I changed my name to Miss B Bottom 3. This is a temporary name change. It's not permanent, I promise you. There's going to be a point where we go back to CanTreGame when they buff the character, but until they buff the character, which is going to be at least 6 months, because that's when we get a new season, my name is Miss B Bottom 3. Just to show people how far I'm pushing this agenda that my character fucking sucks. But, with that out of the way, we are still CanTreGame, and I wanted to take time in this video to discuss Tekken 8, my journey on Tekken 8, how it's been. I'll be showing you guys my records from when I started playing this game to now. But basically, I've been playing this game for a month total. I got this game when it came out. Just to give you a little history, I got this game when it came out, but season 1, it didn't exist really. I just started playing Asuka because she was the character I played in Tekken 7, which is another Tekken game I play very casually. Tekken 7 was my introduction to the series. I was looking to try another 3D fighting game because I come from Soul Calibur, which is my favorite franchise of all time. And Dead or Alive, it's another series that isn't talked about that is very near and dear to my heart. It's my second favorite fighting game of all time. And I was looking for more of a 3D fighting game to try, and Tekken was always one of those games that I didn't really stick to because it was liked by a lot of people. But eventually I took my shot with Tekken 7. Played it extremely casually. I was not good by any means. I got to expert rank and stopped. I found that game very difficult. Tekken was always one of those games I could never get into just because I could not really understand the system, and it was, not gonna lie, it was too hard for me. But yeah, I was a filthy casual, barely had any time into the game. I spent most of my time just playing Tekken bowling on that game. Wasn't even really a competitive player. Although I was a fighting game player, I understood how to play fighting games. I didn't really start going competitive. My competitive career didn't actually start until MK1 came out. That's when I first started entering tournaments, and then I've been doing it very sparingly ever since. Did it for Fate of Fury. I actually did recently enter a tournament for Tekken 8. It was a light tournament though. It was like a tournament for beginners basically, so I wouldn't really call it like a full-fledged tournament like TNS or anything, but I did enter a tournament, and I was able to get top 8 in that tournament, but we'll get there in a little bit. Well, that's my background with Tekken. Tekken 8 is the first Tekken game I've taken seriously though. I asked her to dive in and tried to learn this game, and I've always told people that this game has always been one of the bane of my existences. It's a game that I want to get into, but the skill ceiling was very difficult for me to get into with Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. So that's mainly the reason I quit this game season 1. I only played this game at launch for like literally less than a week, and then I dropped this shit immediately. Like, yeah, it's still too difficult. I just can't understand the systems and all the nuances and the wall combo and the wall carry and the side step left, side step right, and yada yada yada. You know, tornado and snake edge and fucking tailspins. There's so much shit you have to learn with Tekken. I just felt so overwhelmed getting into it as someone who's played super heavy and was really good at other 3D fighting, and this was always the one I couldn't get into, along with Street Fighter. I'll never get into Street Fighter, but yeah, that's kind of my experience here. So I hardly play any season 1. In fact, I'll show you guys the stats right now. So as you can see in season 1 here, I don't have any online matches. Like the only matches I have a player match, and that was against one of my friends. His name was Chris. And this was literally like week 1 of the game dropping when we played it very early. It was extremely casual. In fact, that YouTube video is still up. I will link it at the end of this video so that you guys go watch it and see just how terrible I was at this game. But yeah, I have no rank play in season 1 at all because like I said, after week 1, I quit this game. I left. I went back to Actually, I was playing Mortal Kombat at this time. I went back to MK1. Fatal Fury didn't even drop at the time. So I went back to playing MK1 heavy. That was my game, grinding it, pushing content for that game, and eventually competing for that game. I didn't play Tekken. It wasn't until Season 2 dropped that I came back to this game and decided to give it a hearty shot. Now, the reason this game even came back to me for wanting to give it a shot was because I saw on Twitter that Season 2 dropped a new character, obviously, that being Miaris. And it's not Miarizo for everybody who keeps saying that shit. Her name is Miaris. So please say it right, because one of my pet peeves when people say names wrong. But yeah, it's Miaris, it's not Miarizo, right? But anyway, Miaris dropped, and I found her to be an interesting character. I watched the trailer, and I've been keeping up with Tekken. Even when I wasn't playing it, I was like looking at characters that might catch my eye. None of them really did. I watched her trailer, and at first I was like, okay, this is not gonna get back into the game. And then she started using Ogre's powers. I'm like, whoa, we got another Zafina in the game. That's awesome. Maybe I'll come by to try it out. So that's what happened. Saw her trailer. I was okay, she interests me enough to at least come back to the game and experiment with her, right? Because I did buy the season pass like a dodo, thinking I was gonna play this game, and no, I didn't. But because I already purchased the season passes in advance, I was like, well, I got her for free, might as well try her out, right? Started trying her out. She was very fun to play. I enjoyed the ogre abilities. And that's another thing that caught my interest too with her is, as you can see, like I said, season 1, I'm playing Asuka. She was my main character in Tekken 7 mainly because she was easy and she had a defensive playstyle, and I love playing defensive fighting games. I think that's something that's very rare. Most of these games are offensive driven. So I like being able to play defense. That's my favorite playstyle, aside from set play and characters that are very tricky to fight. But yeah, but after Asuka, I basically ended up playing Zafina because Zafina was the closest character I had in Tekken to Tira from Soul Calibur 6, because, you know, she sacrificed health in order to do a lot of damage. And I like the fact that she could summon Azazel from her hand and do those type of moves. That was very cool. And I liked her critical edge. Like, basically, she was like she was basically a boss character, but not a boss character. But she had a boss character ability. Like, wow, this character is really cool, and this is the closest thing I got to Tira. So I was playing Zafina for a little bit after Asuka, and then I quit the game shortly after. But anyway, Miari became the same way for me. I was watching the trailer, and the moment I saw the ogre stuff and the fact that she did similar shit to Zafina with the whole arm power and stuff from summoning powers from past boss characters in Tekken history, and, you know, the raid art she does. I'm like, whoa, this character is really cool. She has a very similar gimmick to Zafina with the whole arm thing, and she has powers from past boss characters. And she's a waifu, because I know, man, I love me some waifus. Like, I'm intrigued. I might actually give it a shot again. I told some people in the Discord server I'm in, I said, hey guys, I'm looking to give Tekken a shot again. This new character interests me. Miaris is really cool looking. She gives me a lot of Zafina vibes, so I might actually come back and try her out. And I told them I'm going to leave Fatal Fury maybe to try her out, and they joked about it. They were like, most of the breakout server I'm in, they are very huge on Tekken, the heart of the server, so they were very eager to jump in to help me get into the game. So I had no shortage of XP there, right? So basically, I got the game again. I tried her out. I was just planning to try the character out. I didn't think I was going to be back in a Tekken. But I tried her out. She seemed very fun, like I said. I got more into her than I thought I would. And she was also extremely easy to play, like Asuka basic easy to play. And I started doing combos really easy and stuff. So basically, she was very fun and easy enough for me to actually want to give this game a shot, because I really wanted to get good at the game, now that I have a character that I actually want to play. And it's not that Zafina was not fun to play. The other thing that got me into her was just seeing that Zafina had new moves, like being able to actually summon a Azazel from certain moves, and she had to install now, so I want to try that out too. But yeah, that's kind of why I ended up coming back to Tekken. So as you can see here, or Season 2, I actually did end up playing online. As you can see, the record is actually pretty good. We had a 92 win rate. There was a point where I started with, I think the highest win streak I had was, actually showed you there, 26 wins in rank. Granted, I was starting from beginner all the way up to Fujin, and I'll explain that real quick. So basically just my first real time playing Tekken, I only been playing this game for 2 weeks of season 2, only 2 weeks, right? When the character dropped. I spent most of this time learning the game, just sparring a lot of high ranked players from like Fusion ranks, Tekken God rank, the highest rank I fought in season 2 was Tekken God rank. I just spent most of my time the last 2 weeks learning the game, studying videos, trying to learn tech with the character, fighting so many different high level players to help me get better. So you can tell by my group win rate, like 34%, that I was getting my ass kicked a lot. And in player match win rate, I mean, I got this still high, but the group matches are mainly me just sparring people. And I was getting my ass kicked a lot learning this game. It was fun and very frustrating. But in those 2 weeks, people commented on how fast I learned the game. In fact, there's still videos. If you guys can see, I only have 2 videos on Tekken from that time where I went from beginner to Mighty Ruler, then Mighty Ruler to Fujin, and then I stopped playing. But yeah, I was grinding really hard. I was actually, in 2 weeks I was playing the game and grinding, I was actually able to beat a lot of the higher ranked people I was actually sparring eventually, get game up them, and some of them I was actually able to beat in sets outright. So that was really good to hear. I was catching the game really quick. I started learning wall combos, like better wall carry routes, better routes in general, better frame traps. It was fun, took the game serious. And we got to Fujin. And I enjoyed the game a lot. Like I said, the reason I stopped playing midway through season 2 and didn't go further in ranked is because Fatal Fury got a season 2. So I basically dropped Tekken to try that out. So that's why I left the game for a while. And now we get to where we are today, which is season 3. So here we are, season 3. You guys can see that this is the highest point in Tekken history, rank-wise, I've ever hit. I hit Tekken King. This was also the first season I actually ended up playing for a tournament. Believe it or not, the moment the season dropped, my first return to Tekken, I returned to Tekken because of season 3 because I want to check it out. But my first return to this game, and the reason I came back again, was because, well, 2 reasons. First of all, like I said, I don't like Fatal Fury season too much because they nerfed the shit out of my character, Miss B bottom 3. So my character fucking sucks ass, so it's a pain in the ass to play the game for me. 2, one of the guys in the server, Garo, reminded me that we had a Tekken tournament, a Tekken Academy tournament play. He asked me if I was going to play in it. And I had forgotten that I promised another guy, Jay, that I would play in the next Academy tournament. So basically, I ended up playing this game again for season 3 just because I had a promise to fulfill in playing in one of their Academy tournaments. So I entered the event and it was really bad. I only had 6 hours to prepare. Like I literally hopped on season 3, didn't read any patch notes, Vlad Miari basic stuff for 6 hours. I was rusty as hell. And I played in the tournament. Yeah, so that's my introduction to season 3. And I somehow got top 8 in that tournament. With it was a ladder style tournament. So basically you jump in a queue, you match up against somebody, you fight them first to 2, you beat them, hop back in the queue, keep fighting. So basically the higher your win rate is by the end of like 2 hours determines who gets top 8. And eventually I was able to make it with a 50% win rate, which is higher than most people in the queue. So I barely made it. I was in 8th spot tied with Jay, and I qualified for the top 8 ladder, to which I fought the guy, Sick Evan, the same Rena I had fought, the Jin player I fought to get to the ladder. He was one of my opponents. He ended up beating me like 1-2. It was very close. The first time I fought him, he made a comeback. I was up 2-0 in the set, and in the round, and he just reverse 3-swept me and took the whole set. And I had to fight him again as my first losers match in the top 8. I had to fight him. He's my loser opponent, and he beat me 2-0 that time. Didn't even get a match off him in that set, and then I got eliminated. But we made top 8 somehow by gapping and being rusty as hell. So luck was on our side, and then that motivated me to get back into season 3. So that's where we're at. Our win rate is a lot rougher now, but we're still winning more than usual, obviously. You can see that my group match win rate is a lot lower than last season. Same thing with player match, and that is because I immediately came back to this game fighting sweaty ass players. Like now we upped the ante from fighting up to Tekken gods and stuff. I'm just fighting straight up gods of destructions and Tekken gods just all ripped now, trying to learn the game again, and I'm getting fucking cooked, as you can see. So yeah, that's how season 3 has been. And in play season 3 and going more into the rank and learning more and more about the game than I ever had before last season, I've started to come across some things that challenge my joy of Tekken. Like, I'm starting to understand the community more when they talk about things about the game, being stance 50-50 slop, heat being annoying, heat engager this, heat engager that, wall carry this, wall carry that. So that's what I'm here to talk about. I know it took a while to get up here to this point, but I kind of wanted to give my point, my perspective on Tekken, how I've been feeling as a Tekken player, how the journey's been, and how I feel about the game. Do I enjoy the game? Do I recommend the game? Yada, yada, yada. So this is basically going to be me talking about my experience, good and bad, and how I feel about the game, and would I continue to play the game, and would I recommend it to somebody else? So let's start off with the positives. Me personally, I find this game to be very fun. I like that the combos are... I know people hate the wall carry and the combo stuff. I like the long combos. I like the impact of the moves. Feels very good to me. I enjoy the wall combos. When we hit those, very fun. Karen's wall is very fun to me. Been very engaging. And this game, I will say this about Tekken 8. Like, everybody talking about how easy Tekken 8 is. And I'm coming in as a basic new player to the franchise. I will tell you 100%, as someone who has played Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, Tekken 8 is a shit ton easier to play than Tekken 7. 100%. I feel like just getting in the game and practice I was able to do as good as I could, granted with a new character, but she was also easy. This shit is night and day easy to me. It's not even close. There are, I will tell you this, if nothing else, this game is way easier than City of the Wolf, Fate of Fury. And I'm not trying to bash Tekken and say that, hey, your game is not hard to play. It's, first of all, remember that I'm coming from a person who has played 3D fighting games before. And I'm trying to speak in the mindset of a casual. This game is a lot easier to play than Fate of Fury. Like, I would say that 100%. Like, I would be more than likely to recommend someone play Tekken. Like, if my friends were to ask me, hey, this game looks fun, you make it look fun, don't want to play, because they do ask me the game. They ask me, hey, you make this game look really fun, should I play the game? I would probably tell them, when it comes to Tekken, I say, oh yeah, you could definitely play this game. Like, I can recommend them an easy character. Like, hey, if you don't really want to learn or get too in depth, just play Eddie and have a fun time. You know, you can master Eddie, have fun. Horong is another character I would say is, you can just press buttons and do stuff, and I played that character, so I know for a fact that you can. Like, there's a lot of characters I think a casual can play in this game and have a good time with. And the list can go on and on and on. Like, I would recommend June. She's like a very easy character, just press buttons with and do okay with. So there's a lot of characters in this game that seem very casual. As well as the execution, they made a lot of stuff less difficult to do in this game. Like the fact I could just double dash, like press double tap back on the arrow key and basically get a nerfed version of a Korean backdash. But I'm gonna be straight up with you, I can't do that shit. I can't create a backdash to save my life. I've tried. I can't wave dash either. That shit is hard. So the fact that they make stuff a little easier to do is very big on me. Like, I've seen my friends who are extremely casual. I mean, some of them take fighting games serious, but not as serious as I do. Like, I'm like one of the most competitive fighting game players in the group, and they're able to do combos and stuff, and even basic wall combos. So that's stuff that probably would never happen in Tekken 7 at all. So this game is way easier to play. It's a lot easier to rank up in. The point system is very lenient. In fact, like, gaining more experience in the game and learning more tech, the fact that I have been in blue ranks and hell, even gold ranks for Tekken King now, where I'm fighting people who are basically just doing power crush and basic stuff being that high, is also proof to me that this game is really easy. But just from my own experience, it's a lot easier to play. I think Heat makes it really easy to play, and if nothing else, the system that you can basically do switch to and just do moves easily makes this game easy to play, in my opinion. But I find the game a lot easier to play in Tekken 7 and not near as difficult. I find ranking up easier in this game. Even when I had less experience, I found this game easier to rank up. And no, I didn't start playing this game until I gained enough experience where I felt comfortable enough to go in rank. So that's why I breezed through the lower ranks. But even then, it wasn't as hard as Tekken 7, which I did make an effort to learn combos and stuff. It was still harder. And just the fact that this game was a lot more offensive heavy than the last Tekken game I played, because the Tekken 7, and this is one of my biggest struggles coming to Tekken 8. In Tekken 7, I played more of a poke and block heavy playstyle. You can kind of see it in my Tekken 7 gameplay. If you follow me on stream or watch me play on stream, I'm doing a lot more backdashing, blocking, waiting for an opportunity to hit, or try to punch something, or do a lot of poking. The first thing that, and this gets into the gripes of Tekken 7, Tekken 8, the first thing I noticed about this game is that shit don't work. It's not as good as I thought. Not in this game. If you block in this game, you fucking die. So, yeah, I had to learn real quick, especially with heat, that I need to stop blocking. Like, one of the first things that the guy was learning and told me, he said, yeah, let me give you some advice. You need to try to challenge stuff more. And I told him, like, I'm so used to the old school style of Tekken where I have to block and maybe respond or wait my turn and then maybe poke or, you know, play a lot more small. And he said, yeah, this game doesn't reward defense as much. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to throw it out the window. And I think that, because this game is a little more offensive and, you know, a lot of casuals, they don't block anyway. I think that also makes this game a lot easier to get into, especially for me. When I started playing offense, I find that to be the case, and I have a lot of mixed options, especially with Miara. She's got a lot of mixed options with her stances. I was like, okay, this game is a lot easier. So let's get out of the way right now. Everybody, I gotta be on Twitter before I started playing the game. Everybody said, oh, this Tekken game was way easier than the last one. I'm like, yes. As someone who is basically new to the series and starts with Tekken 8, seriously, yeah, I would say this game was way easier. Like, I would definitely say that. Definitely, compared to my experience with Tekken 7, this game was a lot easier. I think that was like the extent of my positives with this game, though, to be honest. I don't think I could say anything more. I mean, the easier, the rank up faster. I feel like a casual can have fun with this game if they pick the right character, and even then, I think they'll have fun. As long as I pick up someone like maybe Heihachi, I think it's difficult. Rena, I think it's difficult. Yoshimitsu is pretty difficult, but even then, a casual can play them and be fine. I think I'd definitely recommend this game to my friend, right? Stuff like that. Now let's get into the many gripes that I have with this game. Let's start with the number one thing that I did not like day one. Let's start with heat, all right? We gotta talk about this heat thing. Now, I'm gonna start off to say that I do not, despite how much I hate the heat system in this game, I don't think it needs to be removed. As crazy as it is, I know it's a core part of Tekken 8 at this point, and without heat, some characters just fall apart. Like, some characters are really balanced around heat, some characters function around heat, some characters are made around heat. If heat doesn't exist, Heihachi cannot use Warrior Spirit, and we'll get that installed in a little bit, trust me. So yeah, there are characters who are tied to heat and balanced around heat and who need heat to survive in the first place. And then there's characters like Law and King who fucking are obnoxious as hell to no end with heat and need to be removed. But my main problem with heat is, like, and I'm gonna sound like one of the Tekken old heads on Twitter, but I played this game, I feel it. So I'm gonna speak from my perspective here. I genuinely did enjoy Tekken 8, playing the game. But the moment somebody pops heat, this game just stopped being fun. Like, just in the 2 weeks, it's either two I spent learning this game, I would genuinely have fun with the game, engaging and stuff. And then someone pops heat, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what am I dealing with? Why did you get all this crazy shit in heat? Like, this is so annoying. Now, it didn't hit me, like, too hard at that time, because I was still learning the game, but it immediately reminded me of Soul Calibur, because, like, again, that's my favorite franchise of all time. Soul Calibur 6 had this mechanic called Soul Charge, where you pop it, it's like a defensive thing where you activate it, you spin the bar, you get this explosion on your character and it knocks anyone near it to get pushed away, right? You enter this super powered state for a certain period of time, as long as you had a bar, and you had access to OP-ass moves. When the bar ran out, it obviously ran out of the Soul Charge move. That's what Heat reminded me of. But the reason Heat was way more obnoxious to me in Tekken is because, one, you get that shit every single round. In Soul Calibur, you had to manage that resource. You weren't just given a bar every round. You had to fight and build that bar and manage that bar. And then you could choose to use it. Same thing with Rage, Critical Edge, which is Rage Art, which I will get into as well. Your Critical Edge was basically a Rage Art in that game, and your Soul Charge was basically your Heat in that game. you had to manage your resources. The only time you were given a bar for free is when it was the final round for you to give you a like last minute comeback or something like that for the last round. But starting off with heat was so exhausting because I had to deal with it every single time someone just popped heat and hit me, and then I had to deal with OP shit, or someone launched me into the fucking air, they pop heat, now they're carrying me across the fucking screen, and then I hit a wall, and then if they're good players, which I experienced this season, climb with the rank, they're just gonna 50-50 with the Oki setup, and 50-50 and 50-50 and 50-50, right? Which I'll dive more into as like the video continues. But yeah, I didn't like heat. I don't like heat now. In fact, like I eventually was able to adapt to the point where I understand like heat's even part of the game, something I got used to. And I was so not used to heat that I wouldn't even use the heat move at all when I was learning the game. I would forget it existed until someone popped like, oh yeah, I have heat too. But obviously I was just popping it to use it because I feel like if you don't use the resource in a round, you're wasting it, like when you're playing the game wrong, right? But I wouldn't use it as effectively as the other person because first of all, I didn't know all my heat moves or the extent of heat. I didn't know heat smashes were plus. I didn't know the heat engagers were plus like 9 on hit, stuff like that. I didn't know how to frame trap with it after I hit someone, so they would just sidestep me and blow me up. There was a lot of nuance with heat that I didn't like and get into, and obviously a person who knew how to use it just fucking blew me up. Like I would lose rounds because when I activated heat. So I understand the community's hate for heat. I don't think it needs to be removed though. I think they just need to balance it. My thing with heat as well is I don't understand why the fuck you can combo somebody and when you're in heat and the bar won't drop when you're comboing them. I think that's stupid as shit. Why does your heat meter pause when you're comboing somebody? I think that shit needs to drop even when you're comboing, because why am I saving heat? So that's one thing I hated. Another thing I hate is why the fuck are characters able to regenerate heat? Flaw. Why? Is that a thing? When you are comboing somebody with Soul Calibur, for example, your soul charge meter is still going. It's still dropping. It's not pausing. When you are doing soul charge moves on your soul charge and Soul Calibur, you did not have any move that regenerated that. It kept ticking. So that's basically my main thing. Heat is just overwhelming sometimes. It has a lot of utility with heat engagers on block being plus and my biggest, and this hit me season 3, my biggest problem with heat, my God, and this right here is what really sealed the deal for heat. This is when I started to understand the community hate for this stupid mechanic, right? The fact that characters can do a heat smash on my block and be plus into stance 50-50 bullshit. Now, I played Miyari, right? And she does that shit. And I think it's cheap, but she does it. The fact that someone's low on health, I could do a heat smash, they blocked it, and their reward is plus boa mix, and they gotta get high, low. That's bullshit, okay? Like, I feel like with heat, if you block the heat smash, you should, if you're safe, that's fine. Like, characters like, I guess, June, characters like, the characters that don't go into stance, or I think Zafina, right? When the characters do a mid or the move, and at best they're just safe on block, I'm okay with that. Like, you tried to heat smash me, you didn't get punished. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna be able to punch you, but you do a heat, it didn't work, you're safe, it ends. Neutral reset, that is okay. But when you got characters like Miyari doing it, oh my God, King is the biggest offender of this shit. Every time I fight a King, I have a fucking aneurysm. Like, it's so busted with King that every King player's game plan is centered around hit you on the wall, pop heat, do the stupid wall combo with a Jaguar sprint. Now you're gonna hold a 50-50 on Oki, and he drop kicks, grabs you, or he does a mid, right? And then when that works, their next course of action, the moment you get off the ground, it's a heat smash again. And they go into Jaguar sprint mix again. And that shit is plus, so they gotta guess again. And then you lose. I've lost an unhealthy amount of times and had a unhealthy number of rages in this game simply because of that. Mainly King is the biggest problem, but it's not, again, just King. I've had it happen with Steve. I think Jin doing it stupid, Law doing it stupid. Any character, I don't care how strong the shit is, any character that forces you to hold a 50-50 after a heat smash is dumb. That should not be a thing. I think if you put it all into a heat smash At best, you should be safe. No. At worst, you should be safe, because I still think it should be punishable. And that's where we get into low heat smashes. Now, playing this game season 2, for the 2 weeks I played it, I used to think low heat smashes were degenerate as fuck. I still think they're degenerate as fuck, because basically when you're fighting someone like Kazuya, Shaheen, Lee, fucking Christ, Claudio, anytime one of those characters pop heat, they're basically a walking 50-50 as long as they're in heat. You gotta guess low or mid. As long as they are in heat, you are basically on a 50-50 ticking time bomb as long as they hit you. Now, there's some characters you're gonna be more likely to block low against, right? Like maybe Kazuya with a hell sweep and sidestep left, yada, yada, yada. But you're not gonna block low against Claudio, that his mids are too fucking strong. Like, you'd be a fool. Like, so if you're trying to guess the low heat smash, you're just gonna get popped by mids all day. Same thing with Shaheen. And then they can just let that shit rip at any time. Right, so they're just walking 50-50s. Now, as much as I used to hate them, I've started to hate them a lot less than the other bullshit that heat provides your character because of one thing. At least those low heat, oh, I forgot Paul too. At least those low heat smashes are unsafe. At least if you block them, you get a punish. You can also sidestep them, saying about all other heats, but the main thing with low heat smashes is bullshit as they can be. If you block them, they are punishable. In some cases, they can launch, which I think is perfectly fine. The 50-50 is bullshit, but their cost, the fact that they actually have a cost with that type of heat smash, I think it makes it fine, because if I guess right, I can kill you, or at least hurt you, right? You don't get that with the characters that go into stance transitions on heat. In fact, they're plus. They get rewarded for doing heat smash. You get punished for blocking that. Like, why? Why am I -4 because I did a heat smash and I blocked? And you're trying to tell me that it's better for me to get hit? Like, why is blocking a death sentence against that shit? I don't understand it. It's so annoying and draining, and most of the characters are like that. Now, it's the characters that don't have any type of mix with that shit. They just do it and their heat's over. That's fine. I could care less, you know. You did it, I blocked it. The reward is neutral reset. Like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel when I block those heat smashes. There's even more of a light at the end of the tunnel when I block a low heat smash. But there's no reward for blocking heat smashes that go in the mix. It's bullshit. The only thing you could really do, and even then it's a risk, the only thing you can really do against those type of heat smashes is rage art. That's why most people rage art whenever I do heat smash with Miari and they gotta hold the mix and I'm plus, they're like, no, I'm rage arting. Like, I do the same thing now. Like, I'm not holding that shit, it's broken. So yeah, that's my gripes with heat. So to summarize it, you shouldn't have heat every round. I think it needs to be some type of, I think you need to earn it, manage the resource. You should not be plus in the stance. I think if your heat is blocked, that should be the end of it. Or if you are going to go in the stance, that should need to be fake, like most stance transitions are. We can, down forward one them out of it. You should not be plus in the stance when you block heat smash. That is stupid as fuck. That's like in Beta Fury, if somebody did a DP, an unsafe DP, and they got to go in the mix after, like, why? I blocked it, where's my reward? That's stupid. They need to take a pay to the low heat smash to actually either just be safe or punishable. If you're gonna do anything after heat and your heat's not gonna end and your turn's not over after you do heat and I block it, if you're gonna go into any stance or be low, it needs to be unsafe. Like, it needs to be fake. It shouldn't jail. That's stupid to me. And regen needs to not exist. I don't know why the fuck you're able to regenerate moves in heat. That's stupid to me. Now, if you couldn't activate heat in the first place, like every single round, you actually had to manage a meter for it, I would be a lot more okay with heat being in, because I'd be like, hey, you used this round to seal a deal, that's fine. You got your extended combo wall carry, that's fine. But next round, you don't have your heat, and I have heat, and now it can make me run away with it. I think it would require a lot more skill expression if you had to manage your heat bar some way. There's that. Another issue I have with this game, and I'm starting to understand now, we get into the whole stance 50-50 slop talk the game has, and before I didn't understand it, it's not that bad. Like I said, playing more this season, I'm starting to see it. It feels like every character I fight has some type of do a string, go into stance mix, and a lot of it's fake, but every character has some way to go plus into the stance. June does it, Jin does it, Armor King does it. Mihari does it. Safina does it. She thought of it that way. Rina does it. Heihachi does it. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on. It feels like every character, Steve, bro, it feels like Law, it feels like every single character I fight in this game wants to do something into some 50-50 shit. And it gets draining because it feels like when I get a break, you know? It feels like when people say stuff like this game stands 50-50 slop or this game is just hit you in the 50-50 and super offensive, I understand them completely. And I played it like, I'm starting to see it. Like Lee is another one. They all do something in the stances and then they just get a move or it's like something unsafe, something safe, and then they have some type of power crutch in the stance who's trying to challenge it with down forward when you get hit anyways. It's a very tiring archetype to play. And it's not what I'm used to, because in Tekken I remember, and I'm gonna get into the character archetype assassination stuff. It feels like a lot of the characters I'm used to fighting had a set gameplay, and in Tekken 7 it doesn't, you know, it feels out the window. Like the characters don't play like I'm used to them playing. Even Asuka, the character I used to play in Tekken 7, he was more defensive and poke heavy. That bitch is an offensive monster in this game. I'm like, what happened to my character? Like, why is she kicking ass on offense like this? Like, what happened? Season 1, she wasn't like that, but season 2, I'm like, damn, you mean she's good now on offense? Like, what? Like, she's plus 13 here? Like, this is not how she used to play in Tekken 7. So I understand all of that. The stance 50-50 slop, I feel y'all. I played this game enough to see it now. Like, yeah, this character does it here and here and here and here and here and here and here, and it's tiring as fuck. Because then it makes it feel like blocking isn't a thing. This is one of the reasons, like the guy I was learning from told me that you need to be more, you need to take more charge. You can't just block all day, because then you just block and you hold the stance and you gotta guess. And then you have to, you know, you gotta take a number of risks. I've personally just taken time to like, one of the habits I've gotten to recently is I'm just starting to down one stances more, because a lot of the time they are fake. Now, if they jail into a stance and it's plus and they hit me, then at that point I start power crushing, because this is what I got to do now on defense. Defense in this game is basically you say fuck you to that shit. If they go on a stance like, no, I'm not holding you here. And if it's plus, I'm like, well, I'm going to power crush you. You better do a fucking low, you better do a power crush on the stance, because I'm not holding that shit. I'm tired of guessing. I trust. There was a Heihachi who hit me against the wall. This man did a plus move into stance on Oki, and I literally woke up rage right out of that shit. I wasn't holding it. I'm not dealing with that shit. And the fact that defense has to be that way, where you have to mash or do something stupid. Like I used to think last season that people were mashing when I would go into stance. I'm like, why the fuck would you mash there? You're stupid. The more I play this game, I'm like, oh, this game makes you do that. That's basically defense. You gotta challenge shit. You gotta power crush shit. You have to do something, because blocking is a detriment in this game. Like every time you block, you get to hold a 50-50, and that is not very fun. So I get it. It's mainly the fact that most of the characters in the game are like that. Like if it was a few, I wouldn't mind it, but the fact that most of the characters are doing that shit now, it's like every single game I gotta deal with it, and it's very draining. So it makes you have to play the game in the way that I said earlier, because of most of the characters being that way. They either go in a stance fake or they go in a stance plus, and you have to take more of a risk to get your turn back. And then if you just are on a guess wrong simulator, then you just fucking lose. Like it feels a lot less interactive on defense or blocking, because like it's so punishing to block in this game. That's like I say, defense is not very good. And I, as someone who just played Tekken 7, I don't really like that. As someone who likes defense, I don't like that change at all. No, I think it's good for casuals and other players, because you know that type of environment makes people that are less good and neutral and defense in general or fun in general, that allows them to climb up the rank more. It allows for more casino gameplay. You know, people say Casino 8, I get it now, because it's really just up to Guess for Game Simulator 24/7. And that can get draining. But if you're able to, like I said, understand when stances are fake, what's punishable, that some of the stuff can be sidestepped, because I've been labbing on some stuff can be sidestepped. I understand when a power crush, then it can be manageable, but it's still annoying. And a lot of characters can play like that. So that's not fun. It's something I've been encountering a lot more this season, especially in high rank, and it's been very fatiguing to play, especially the Heihachi player I fought for them was very draining. Garo's the lead with the first one introduced me that shit. He hits me near a wall and he just goes into Hitman and 50-50s and the other bullshit. And then when I start counting what he does, he goes to the next layer and then that's draining and I'm just losing because he's mixing me. And I'm like, dude, you're so good at the fucking game. He is good, but he's just a prime example of when I really started running that shit. And then King with the epitome of I understand the community. So yeah, that is draining. And now we're gonna get into the next rep I have with this game, which is installs. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Now, I for one don't hate installs as a concept. I think installs are very cool. When they're done correctly, I enjoy them. I'm gonna go to Soul Calibur 6. I think that's where it started. And then Tekken 8 just happened to get that. So in Soul Calibur, we didn't have, like, installs were very rare, far in between. It was mainly given to the DLC character. So I think Tira with the pre-order bonus, she got the installs. She had one. Cassandra had one, and Amy got him. And there were some characters on the roster that had one, like Siegfried and Nightmare, yada yada. But the thing with installs in Soul Calibur compared to Tekken 8 is that not many characters had them for one. There are very few. And when the characters that did have them, they're the thing, and then it's not every character, but Soul Calibur 6 actually gave characters drawback to that shit. And a lot of the installs, when implemented correctly, they were meant to make weaker characters stronger, which is why I don't hate installs the concept. When done right, I think if you give a shit character, maybe like bottom 5 or something, a strong install to where they become like at least a high tier, even top 5 or 3, like Tira season 1, for example. She was a bottom 5 character. She was very bad, but once she got her install going, it was like, I think like top 1 install in the game. Actually, she actually became a top 3 character when she got the install because it was that busted, right? What her install did basically was, imagine heat in Tekken 8, but if a character had an install that made you have permanent heat for the entire match. That's how hers worked. It was quite literally broken. She had soul charge for the entire match once she got her install activated. But the thing with that, the drawbacks, first of all, the drawbacks were many. Didn't just easily get that shit, right? She had this gimmick where she would switch moods, either Jolly or Gloomy, and you had to do that 9 times within a set. And you had to win 3 rounds in a match to get to win, right? So imagine trying to do 9 mood changes in a set where you have to get 3. If your opponent just 3-0s you and wins the match, you're never getting that, right? Your best case scenario was to draw the match out and go like maybe final game, final round. You had a chance of getting it, but it was not something that happened often. Mainly because the mood changes were driven of RNG. She had to do certain moves that gave her a chance to get a mood change. Sometimes it didn't always happen. And it's either one, the rates were very, very low for getting a mood change. They were very low, right? So it wasn't something that happened. And the only way to guarantee she got mood changes was by hitting her critical edge, was guaranteed. You had to do it in Jolly. If you did it in Gloomy stance, she didn't mood change at all. You had to get a critical edge in Jolly, or when she got low in health, she got a guaranteed mood change. Those were the only 2 ways to guarantee mood changes. Everything else was complete RNG. So she was a very inconsistent character, and her install was very hard to get. So it made it to where if you were somehow, by some miracle, able to get that mood change and get all 9, you should probably win the game. But you see, there was a lot of work to get that install. And even then it had drawbacks because she only got the permanent soul charge when she was in Gloomy. So if you did a move, and Gloomy also had a higher chance of switching back to Jolly. So if you did a move that was very strong or had a high chance of switching to Jolly, and she switched to Jolly, well, then you just were out of install till you switch back. And it was a lot harder for Jolly to switch to Gloomy than it was for Gloomy to switch to Jolly. And then other drawback she had was that if she got hit by if either one at least, if she got hit by a guard break move, she immediately switched right back to Jolly. She got knocked out of install if you did a certain move and hit her with it. right? And then there's the drawback of, let's say you start off the round with Gloomy, but then you get to 33% HP, and he gets forced into Jolly. Well, now you're in a losing situation because you're out of install and you're at 30% HP in a weaker stance and not in install. I'll go to another character, Huang, right? He had this install where he had very OP moves with talismans, but they were tied to his yin yang. So we had this yin yang counter under his health, and he started off, I think, a match with 4 yin yangs or something. And every time he did one of those OP moves, he would use 2 of the yin yangs, right? And the only way he could get more yin yangs is at the start of a new round, or if he did a critical edge, that it would restore like 3 of his yin yangs back, right? It would replenish his stocks. So every new round, or every time he did a critical edge, he got new stocks, right? Now, if he used those moves, his yin yang counter went down, right? So you basically already had this install going, right? You could do as many of the OP moves as you wanted. Now the problem was you could go below 0 on your stocks, and every time you went negative, you paid for it severely next round. So what happened was, if you went negative or below 0, then the next round you start off with less HP, and it was not minuscule. You started off with way less HP. If you went to the maximum amount of negative, I think it was like -8 or 9 or something, I don't remember, then you started the next round off with less than half HP. It was bad. If you wanted to go crazy with him and not manage your stocks correctly and the install, you paid severely next game. Siegfried also had an install where he got Dark Legacy, so he gained access to Nightmare's Explosion, but he only got that when he was low on HP, and it was a one-time use thing, right? Keelik had an install when he went Soul Charge, he turned into Malfested form, and he had crazy OP moves that did hella damage, and he had an unblockable critical edge that you had to duck because it was a grab, right? But his drawback was, while he was in the form, his HP bar was dropping rapidly. It was on a timer. So if you were able to run away from him while he was in that form, he basically killed himself. Now, when he reached 1% HP, it just started draining his super meter, and then when that ran out, he got kicked out of the form, right? Now, he could just deactivate the form manually, so if you got away from him, he was just draining HP, or the Keelik player didn't want to run the risk of their health going all the way down, they could just cancel the form and go back to normal, right? But that's a drawback, it's a cost, right? So basically what I'm saying is Soul Calibur had installs, but they weren't near as bad as how Tekken has them because there were costs to them, they were hard to get, they had counter play to them. There were some installs that were kind of Tekken 8-ish, like I would say Hilda's Regalia, where she did a certain move, her weapons got supercharged, and she had one move to do it. I mean, she had a super strong move, once you used it, the install ran out, so that's very much like Asuka and a lot of other characters in the game. Nightmare had one where if he hit you with one of his, like the explosion, his weapon got supercharged and he gained access to one free soul charge move without being in the form, but once it ran out. So there were some Tekken 8-ish offenders. But overall it was balanced, right? It was a lot more balanced than Tekken 8 getting. I mean, not even balanced, I would say. Well, they did a better job of install. But when I get to Tekken 8 and look at their installs, first thing I see is that they hand that shit out like fucking candy. Every character in the Brother has the install. I don't know why that game was so install heavy, but every character has one. That wouldn't be a problem if they gave, you know, restrictions and stuff, but one thing I see in Soul Calibur 6's install system that I don't see in Tekken 8's system is that there are no drawbacks to be found. First of all, installs are way too easy to activate in this game. And 2, they got like no repercussion. So I'll give you an example. Install activation with Athena, you just need to hit any of her Azazel moves. Hit any person with a purple hand and she's getting the orb. I played the character. You do one of her moves, or you do a combo route and you do an Azazel move and Oki or something, a knockout, and boom, you got the install. And then she just gets to summon the motherfucker and B+ a billion or some shit, you know what I mean? It's stupid. Claudio does something, he gets the install. Asuka hits you with something or does some Oki moves, she gets the it's too easy. You do a string and you get installed just like that. I'm like, why? Like Brian does a stance and then he gets snake and then he gets a stupid snake thingy, bro. Snake eyes. Like, why? It's too easy to get installed in this game, and there's no drawback for doing the moves. Like, you're not punished as hard than the installs. Like, fucking Eddie does a move and you hear the bomb go sound and now he's fully charged. Like, why are they so easy to activate and why are they not as difficult to get? And why does somebody have drawback? Like, listen, Heihachi's Warrior Spirit is fucking insane. That character becomes absolutely broken when he gets that shit. I don't care if it does do 3 heat moves activate to get that shit. It's still broken. There needs to be some type of counterplay to that shit. The fact that this man is hitting me and he's deleting gray health, he gets safe hell on block hell sweep for some fucking reason, some other busted ass moves. Like, the hell not think that deserves some type of drawback for how OP he becomes? No! He needs something, but he doesn't have it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference. Soul Calibur did a much better job handing out installs and overall had a more balanced system with their installs. The cost to get them wasn't as easy. And the moves weren't as super oppressive. You know, you didn't see, there were some installs you never saw happen because of how difficult they were to get, even if they were that crazy, right? And some installs did shoot characters on the tier list when they were in those states, but it wasn't near as bad as everybody having Tekken 8 and then being easy to use and there's no drawback. Some of them had counterplay. You don't see that in Tekken 8, which is the issue I have with install. So I wrap it up. I don't hate installs as a concept, but I think Tekken implements them very poorly. I think installs, if you're going to use them like this, they should probably be given to characters who are a bit weaker and maybe help. So they can at least be justified playing more often of the characters. Like, if you have a character who can be weak but become high tier or actually become viable when they get installed, that'd be fine. I think the way you gain access to install needs to be a little bit more costly or harder to do. It shouldn't be as simple as I hit you with the combo, I'm charged. I did a wall combo, I'm charged. I hit you with this purple hand, I'm charged. I think that's stupid. And I do not, for the love of God, you should not gain access to install the moment you pop heat. Like, the fact that Brian gets it, I think Claudio gets it, Zafina getting it just because they pop install, no, you still need to earn that shit. You shouldn't there should not be a way to gain access to that state, because then, like, what about the other characters who don't have it installed and they can just use heat? You know what I mean? It's stupid. That's not how that should work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my gripe with installs. And it's something I'm getting sick of the more I play this game. So yeah, there's that. They needed to implement installs better, and they didn't need to hand them to every character under the fucking sun. I'm tired of it. It's draining, it's running into heat. Installs are. So, the next gripe I want to get into about this game that I come into is the wall carrier in this game is fucking stupid. I'm going to tell you all the trend I run into playing this game. And it started with Garo, that I've noticed it ever since. Everybody aim in this game when they hit you is to hit you, launch you some way, counter hit you with the best combo carry that their character has, whatever it may be, and then immediately activate heat. Whether to get you to the wall, or if they're not going to make it, they're going to activate heat, because everybody wants to get you to that fucking wall. Why do they want to get you to the fucking wall? Because every character can do some dumb ass, well, most characters can do some dumb ass 50-50 loops near the wall. And that is only a thing because the wall carry in this game is so fucking strong. It is very... Bro, when I fight Garo, this man doesn't even really care about doing fancy combos and shit like that. He just wants to launch me, hit me with Lee, activate heat, and then get me to the wall. Then he got the Hitman Oki bullshit, and now I'm getting him right near life. The same thing happened with this Heihachi was fighting, get me near the wall. He activates heat. He does this stupid electric move that hits me on the ground. I gotta get up, and then I have to guess at the wall, and then I can't get off the fucking wall. Same thing with King. You know, he does the same thing. Armor King the same way. Armor King will hit you in the wall. You know how Armor King can pick you up at the wall or does some other stupid wall shit. A lot of characters are victims of this shit. I mean, Miyari does it to a lesser extent because they're okay, they're not good, but she can do it. Yeah, like every character does something like that, and it's a way too even to do that. Like it's draining. And Soul Calibur, do you know how often you hit the wall of Soul Calibur? Or shit, I'm talking about Tekken 7. Do you know how often I had to deal with the wall in Tekken 7? Not very. It was once in a blue moon. My ass was at the back of the wall and I ate fat damage. And even then, I didn't get up so often in either of those games to have to keep getting 50-50 looped. It feels like when I play Tekken 7, Every time somebody hits me, my ass is splatting against the wall. And I'm guessing. That is extremely exhausting. That is very tiring. It's very tiring. I think it's fun, right? I like having longer combos, but the situation when my back is against the wall, that shit is not fun at all. I feel like when you can be the best player in the world, when your back is against the wall like that, I feel like anybody can loot the game. Because you're just forced to guess. Like, that's just another case of this game being offensive heavy, 50-50 heavy. I gotta get off the ground, 50-50. They're hitting me on block and stance shit, 50-50. They activate heat on my block, 50-50. You know what I'm saying? It's just 50-50 no matter where you are, dude. And the wall is the best place to establish 50-50s. And it's so easy to get there that it's tiring. Like, you can't escape it. Like, if that's where you win the most of this game, why wouldn't you want to do that? You know what I mean? It's tiring, and I have to deal with that so often. I don't really know how you would fix that. This was not a problem with Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is it's a different thing. You know, it's a different system, different games. I don't want to bring that up too much, but I'm just seeing other people I watch play this game deal with it into some fucked up situation, or some ugly situation, or some mix, and I'm dealing with it. It's tiring. Like, I've literally gotten into the point on stream where when someone hits me and I hit the wall, I'm like, well, I just fucking lost. Cause I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna mix me when I hit the wall. I'm like, I just fucking lost. Because I gotta guess right, and if I don't guess right, I'm just fucked. And a lot of times in this game, people have situations where if you do hit the wall, you guess right, well, guess what? They're still plus anyway. So it's still their turn. And I'm like, dude, when do I get to play the game again? Like, it's fun. So I understand that part. Offense is very punishing. Like, getting hit is very punishing on the wall. The wall carries is too fucking strong. I'm not saying this game needs to go back to the whole a couple hits in a combo like the old Tekken heads with them. No. I understand that Tekken 8, if the game is supposed to be meant for the newer players to get into the game, I understand Tekken 8 is supposed to change the system, what they said they would do. This game is going to be a lot more offensive focused. The devs said that. So I understand this is supposed to be a completely new take on Tekken, new spin on Tekken. But there are some elements that I think they fucked up on, and that's just one of them. Like, I went over what they have, but that is like another thing that I just don't like. Even as a new player who has more experience with Tekken, who finds this game a lot easier to play than the other games, which I will admit, that is tiring as fuck. I'm tired of dying when I'm back against the wall. And heat, that ugly little system comes back up again. Heat make that shit a shit ton easier. Because now I have learned how to, I'm getting to the point myself now where I hit somebody near the wall and I'm activating heat and I'm like, well, this person's completely fucked. Because now I get to run my Oki, I don't know how to do it. And now if you're going to stand on the ground, I'm going to hit you with this Oki move, you know, this OTG move, and now you're going to want to get up, and now I get to mix you again. You know, it's one of the reasons I was able to hit Tekken King, I can do that shit now. Because I understand how strong the wall is, and getting your opponents back to the wall is in this game. It's completely bullshit. Right? But with that out of the way, I know I spend more time ranting on the game than I do enjoy it. So it's not like I hate the game. No, I do enjoy this game, like I said. I think the ease in this game, the barrier to enter this game is a lot easier than the last previous game, so that's very fun. As long as the combos I enjoy the long combos. I love like having expression and being stylish as fuck with the combos. So the fact that the combos are longer in this game, I really do enjoy that. I enjoy being able to do wall combos. I think they're very fun. The stage transition combos are very fun. I enjoy doing that. And the impact on moves in this game is a lot funner, like in my opinion. It just feels very fun to me. I enjoy this game as much as I rag on it sometimes. The game is very fun. At the end of the day, I'm still a player learning how to play the game, so I still have to get better at certain things. But there are still elements of the game that people talk about that I think are very valid. Like, I understand the hate for heat. And I don't hate the heat mechanic as an idea. I just think it needs to be tuned out, fleshed out better. I think like I said, heat is fun. I like using it. It's just, if they made it, you know, require your management to use it, if it wasn't every single round, if it didn't pause to combo somebody, if it didn't if you couldn't regain it, and if you didn't have to hold fucked up situations for someone heat smashing your guard, then it would be fine. You know, the way like they can use it, I understand Tekken's going for change, and I said I'm here for it. Like Soul Calibur completely flipped the script from Soul Calibur 5, and Soul Calibur 5 completely changed from Soul Calibur 4. And Soul Calibur 5 was the start of this new gen shit, and Soul Calibur 6 doubled down on it, right? And those are still, well, I didn't like Soul Calibur 5 as much, but that's still my favorite franchise of all time. I love 6, that's my second favorite game. You know, so they could put shit like that in the game and it could be fine. They just need to find a way to tune it down to a way that isn't so bullshit, basically. Same thing with wall combos. I like wall combos in the concept. They just need to make it to where you don't die at the wall, you know? I'm not holding fucked up situations because most of the characters in this game do some 50-50 shit, which is also stale as fuck. And they put you in situations. Now, do I hate this game? No, not at all. Let's get that out of the way. I think Tekken 8 is just like, I've said this on my stream, Tekken 8 to me feels like, this game is a game that gets on my fucking nerves at times, but it's a toxic relationship. This game is annoying. It has moments where it pisses me off, but in the day, I love this game more than I hate it. I find a lot more enjoyment playing this game than I hate the game. There are things that annoy me in this game, but like I said on stream, this is like every FGC I ever played. MK1 had some bullshit. Oh my God, that game has some broken ass stuff in it. But I still played that game for like 2 years. It had the most videos on my channel. I went competitive for that game. And I understood the gripes in that game too. I took multiple breaks from that game and streaming it and doing videos on it. I would play other stuff, but I still like that game despite its bullshit. Now, I put that game down, but I definitely came back, right? Because it was fun enough to the point where I would do that. Fatal Fury, I've taken 2 breaks. This is my 3rd break. That's why I'm on Tekken now. And don't worry, Tekken ain't going nowhere. But Fatal Fury had bullshit and still has bullshit. That game is still fun. It annoyed me to no end at times, but it's still a fun game. Tekken is that. I understand, like, again, there are some areas of this game where I wish they would go back to old times. I wish defense was more rewarding in this game. I wish offense wasn't so crazy in this game. I wish that certain characters like Asuka still maintain her identity. Like, one of the reasons I don't play her anymore because she doesn't play with the Asuka I remember. She's supposed to be defensive and reward that, and she doesn't do it no more. I mean, she still does it, but she does offense. And I'm like, no, it's not my character. Why did y'all change her so much? You know what I mean? So there are elements that I wish they bring back, but at the end of the day, I'm fine with how Tekken is right now. And I do understand that if you were an OG player, you hate this. Like, I understand when you say this game is the worst game ever. Like, as an avid, I mean, I'm a new gen to DOA, but I played DOA 5 heavy. That was my first DOA game. And I can tell y'all, DOA 6 watered the game down so bad that I stopped playing the game. I don't even touch a DOA 6 no more. I quit that game so early. They removed stagger escapes. They added a universal parry system, which I think was bullshit because one of the skills in DOA was being able to react and parry properly. Now you got an auto parry button. You have auto combo that again that you cannot parry unless you spin the meter to do a universal parry. They gave sidestepping infinite frames. There's no more forced get-ups. Like, y'all watered the game down so much that I just couldn't fuck with the game no more. So I understand from an old head Tekken player perspective why Tekken 8 is just like a slap in the face to you. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. I almost missed out on one more complaint. I did say, this might sound contradictory, but I did say that I'm all for them making this game easier, or barrier to entry. But with that being said, there needs to be a limit. And this is something that I get, but I'm gonna sound like an old head when I say this, but y'all shouldn't have made certain moves easier to do. I'm all for giving people a shittier version of the move, but like, moves like electrics and taunt jet upper, at least they changed this patch, but electric specifically and playing Lee, why did y'all make it possible to do their shit easier in heat? Or switch to easy mode and just be able to do perfect electric? I think that is a slap in the face. Electrics are notoriously supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to be hard. especially perfect electrics. Those are supposed to be hard to do. Lee is supposed to be a character who's always notoriously difficult to play because he has a shit ton of jet spray moves. Do y'all? And when I was labbing Lee, my friend Garo plays him. Friend, right? He's gonna watch this and clip that. I'm trying to lab the character. I'm finding his jet frame really difficult to do with the blue spark and shit, right? Dude, I popped heat and I was able to immediately do all of the blue sparks. Why can you do that? That is a slap in the face. The fact that I can activate heat and be able to do what Garo does with no issue on me, heat is a slap in the face. The fact that you can be caught and just do free electrics like that with no skill required is dumb as hell to me. And I get the old players saying like, yeah, they made something move easy to do, but the only drawback is a minuscule damage. Like, so you mean to tell me if somebody does, like, let's say electric, I don't know if it's the case for that, but if you're doing electric, right, with the baby input, I can do the electric. My only drawback for doing the easy version is that I get less damage. Whereas somebody does the actual input for the electric, they only get marginally higher damage, like baby ass damage. That is a slap. If I knew how to do electric, which I don't, but if I knew how to do electric, I would feel it completely, like, I would feel like Bandai slapped me in the face, basically. So I understand. I do not agree with this game allowing you to have access to those difficult ass moves, whether it be a baby version with less damage, or when you activate heat, I get to do that shit. That's uncool. That's unfair. If somebody were to play Soul Calibur, and Tira is a very hard character to play. You have to manage her mood changes. You have to be able to react and change her combo up when she changes moves in your combo. And she has the combo with 2 jet frames in it, right? If someone were just able to do that shit for free, I would be incredibly pissed. I'd be pissed at least, because like, why are you doing what I'm doing and you don't even have the execution required to do that stuff? Right. So it's not really a gripe. I mean, it's a gripe I have, I guess. But it's a gripe that I think is well warranted with the older players. I understand why that would frustrate you, because it would frustrate me, right? So, yeah, that's kind of all I want to say. The journey's been good. I'm still learning the game. One of the things I'm focused on myself is movement. Trying to work on realigning and just getting better at playing small Tekken. It took me a while to get at doing all those things with Soul Calibur, so Tekken is going to take me more time. I do love the game. I definitely have some issues with the game, but I do love it more than I hate it. I'm going to continue to play it. The goal, I guess, is to try to hit God of Destruction. That's why I keep finding people well above my rank to prepare and get the experience. And the main thing that are holding me back right now is my matchup knowledge. I don't know how to fight a lot of characters. I fight a character I don't know how to play, and I'll lose in the ugliest way possible, and people will tell me I can punish that, and like, and I'll tell them shut the fuck up. I just started playing this game only a month, barely, and I don't know how to fight characters in the roster. What's possible? What's possible? You're like, oh, you're gonna launch point. They're like, shut up! Let me learn the game. Tell me after the set's over. And optimal punishment. That's what I was talking about. I need to get better at just punishing things instead of like someone doing something that's launch punishable, just not punishing it or getting a baby ass punished. I need to do the optimal punishment stuff. So I'm learning that. It's been the last couple of days just going over my replays. Not ever how to use replay takeover, and now that I've learned how to use defensive replay and have my opponent do certain moves on a timer. I'm using it to up my reaction time to things and recognize certain strings and be able to punish them optimally. So we're getting there. It'll be a journey. I promise Tekken King is not where I'm going to stop. I'm going to try to go for God of Destruction at least. But yeah, that's my update on Tekken. That's my experience. Those are my pros of the game. Those are my issues with the game. Despite it mostly being issues with the game, I do enjoy the game. Again, it's very satisfying to hit combos. It's very satisfying to do the stuff I do. It's very satisfying when I get wall combos. Very satisfying when I hit the big combos on stages like the Mansion stage with Lee. Like being able to hit that long after 100 damage combo is very fun. Doing the Pac-Man combos for 1 billion damage is fun. There's a lot of stuff I enjoy with the game. And obviously, the fact that I can list all the issues and still enjoy the game obviously means that I think the game is fun. I would definitely recommend this game to my friends if they ask me. Simply because there are characters that are very casual friendly and I think people can enjoy, so I can definitely see it. I would recommend this game a lot sooner than I would recommend Fatal Fury to somebody. I promise you that. This game will 100% be I will 100% recommend this game to players. If they were to ask me, yes. Now, that's about it for me. I haven't uploaded a video in a while, so this will be the first one. But the next video I upload, I still have my long set around with Spitty Wolves against Furno, so I'm gonna upload that video next. And after that, my next video will be a Tekken video where I ran a set with Garo, though I didn't get the entire set, but I'm going to upload that next. If you're following me on TikTok, you'll already see that those matches are being uploaded, so you can catch it there if you don't want to wait for the video. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna try to stream on the weekend because that's the only time I have time to stream. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.